So, this happened to me a couple of years ago when I was still in college, and it remains the most surreal Uber ride I've ever had. I was coming back from a friend's house after a small get-together, and it was pretty late, around 1 a.m. I was exhausted and just wanted to get home and crash, so I ordered an Uber, expecting a quiet, uneventful ride back. My Uber pulls up, and right away I notice something strange. The car is a pretty beat-up old Toyota that looked like it had seen better days. It's not unusual for older cars to be used for rideshares, but this one had duct tape holding the side mirror in place and scratches all over. I hesitated for a second but thought, hey, I've seen worse. No big deal. I get in, and the driver is this older guy, probably in his 60s, who seemed nice enough at first. He gave me a big smile, asked me how I was doing, and I figured it would be a normal ride. But then, about 5 minutes into the trip, he suddenly says, so, do you believe in ghosts? Now, it's 1 a.m. I'm tired, and I don't really feel like getting into a deep conversation about the supernatural, so I just awkwardly chuckled and said, not really, no. But he wasn't going to let it go that easily. Oh, you should. I've seen things, he said, completely serious. At this point, I'm just thinking, oh great. I'm stuck in a car with a guy who's about to tell me a ghost story for the next 20 minutes. But what happened next was way weirder. He starts telling me that he's been an Uber driver for over 5 years, and that about a year ago, he picked up a passenger from a cemetery at around 2 a.m. I thought he was joking, but he's dead serious. He said the passenger got in the backseat and didn't say a word the whole ride, which wasn't unusual for him because some people just don't like to talk. But when he looked in the rearview mirror about halfway through the trip, the passenger was gone. Like, just straight up vanished. He pulls over, gets out of the car, checks around, thinking maybe the guy jumped out when he wasn't paying attention. But there was no trace of anyone. No door sound. Nothing. At this point, I'm starting to get that eerie feeling creeping up my spine. The guy is telling this story with such conviction that I actually started to believe he might be serious. And then he says, ever since that night, I've had weird things happen in my car. Sometimes the radio turns on by itself, or I feel someone tap me on the shoulder when no one's there. I nervously laughed, trying to lighten the mood, but the dude was completely stone-faced. The whole ride, I kept glancing at the back seat, low-key terrified that some ghost was going to appear behind me at any moment. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you're trapped in a small car with a guy who's convinced his Uber is haunted, you start questioning your own sanity. Anyway, we finally pull up to my apartment, and as I get out, the driver says, watch out for ghosts, kid. They're real. He gave me the most ominous look I've ever seen in my life before driving off into the night. Needless to say, I didn't sleep much that night, and I haven't taken an Uber past midnight since.